Alright, guys. I'm not gonna keep you guys too long today. Oops. We're gonna start talking about accounting for derivatives. After class, I will post 2 PDF documents. These are FASB 123R, which is a document for accounting principles governing stock-based compensation. Such as restricted stock and executive stock options. And the other one is ASC 815. This is a document governing principles of generally hedge accounting, which is optional but is a better accounting principle, accounting practice. In many cases, there are 3 types of hedge accounting. One is fair value hedges. Example, you have assets or liabilities value of which depends on another security price, such as foreign currency denominated assets, liabilities. I'm going to assign you guys to read those documents, and your assignment is going to be basically to write kind of a rough summary of them. At most 5 pages. I'll give you guys 2 weeks to do it. There should be this kind of a test. There should be a reasonable likelihood that not hedging would affect the earnings. You know, you got foreign currency denominated debt that's coming up in the next quarter. Obviously, if the value of that foreign currency increases, you're going to end up paying more. So it has indeed chance to affect the earnings. You know, You may be hedging this maybe with a futures contract, options contracts, forward, so on and so forth. Then we'll do more detailed applications, but today I'm going to talk about just the general principle. You can record the derivatives used to hedge at their fair value. Typically, derivatives are, unless you buy them for speculative purposes, off-balance sheet items. If you enter into a forward contract, in traditional accounting, either neither asset or a liability, because at the time you enter it, technically it has zero value, right? I mean, if you buy an option, that has a value. But if you do it with futures contracts or forward contracts, normally you don't do anything about it. But if you're doing hedge accounting, you can record the derivatives at their fair value and adjust changes in the value of the hedged items as well. So you have a foreign currency asset and its value changes. If it goes up, you're going to write that as income, but at the same time, the derivative contract will go down in value, so you're going to write that as a loss. So they're going to compensate each other. There's so-called cash flow hedging. For example, you believe that increases in interest rates would materially and negatively affect your cash flow. Higher interest rate maybe is going to end up meaning there's less demand for your product. And you can hedge this using some type of interest rate derivative, maybe swaps, could be, something like euro dollar futures. Then you account for changes in the fair value in the other comprehensive income. They're not technically part of income statement, but it's part of the shareholders' equity statement. We will actually talk about that a little bit. And there's also something called net exposure hedging. Both the effect on the hedged asset liability